greatest player, potentially the greatest coach of all time, Leigh Matthews, joins us in your grand poobah chair.
Yep.
Lethal, it's great to have you back in town. It's great to have you back on the couch.
Thank you. No, it's always good to be here, Jack. Yeah, good.
And
I had to use one of the Leeisms yesterday. To my under-15 girls who got beaten after the siren, a few excuses were starting to get made. And I said to the girls afterwards, in the rooms, there's a lot of tears, the under-15 girls, as you would after you lose the game after the siren. I said, excuses are like junk food, girls. Initially, they taste good, but in the long term, they give you no nourishment. And that was Lee's ripper every time. We got a little bit of an excuse every now and again.
Dubious 50-metre penalty, I think, sunk
very
your finals
dubious.
hopes too, Brownie. Leigh, we're going to open up with your observations. You've been watching the game from afar. What have you seen?
Well, post-21, a few observations. I'll add a little bit of my advice along the way. First of all, St Kilda. Now, they're trying to recruit Tom De Koning, and they're trying to retain Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera. All I know is your best player should be your highest paid player. And if he's not, you're asking for trouble.
And what sort of trouble? So let's say Tom De Koning's been touted at $1.8 million. They're in the battle to keep Nasiah at the moment. Do you see rumblings, if they do sign that players are going to look and go, well, hang on, I'm a better player than him and I should be on more money?
Well, it should be. That's what I mean. The best player, if there's an obvious best player, which currently at St Kilda would be Wanganeen-Milera, he should be the highest paid player, as you were, Brown, in your prime, as you were, Bucks, in your prime. I mean, if you're the best, and that's what I mean, I don't think there's any dispute at St Kilda at the moment, is it, that Wanganeen-Milera is their gun player.
But isn't that an easy one, though, to bump up the offer? To make sure
that's their problem. What I'm saying is your best player should be your highest paid.
The only time that ever really becomes an issue is if there's speculated numbers on bringing a player from the outside in, because you can often like say you're all on contracts and 2 years later a player's elevated himself and becomes the best player, but all the contracts are sort of in camera at that point. Players aren't asking each other in the locker room, what are you on?
But they know, don't you think they know these days through their player managers?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but it's it's in your face when you're recruiting someone for a certain number and that's thrown up.
Yeah, but that's my advice. They can ignore it.
Would you pay Harley Reid $24 million over 11 years?
No.
Right.
No, not at this point.
West Coast Eagles, they're
let's the big picture. The AFL equalisation's looking really shaky, isn't it, after round 21 of 2025? And the Eagles are the team that's stuck on the bottom. We know there's been some massive blowouts that are happening regularly. But the Eagles are interesting to me. I mean, they're rich and they're powerful, but you can't buy a premiership in the modern footy, which is the good thing. But they are going to have to draft really well. And I look back at the Suns. Remember the Suns were down the bottom about 6 years ago. They got a priority pick and they were down the bottom, so they got Rowell and they got Anderson. Great ability, great character, and they stayed. And the Suns have sort of built their team off the back of their example. So this is what the Eagles' challenge is to be, to make sure because you've got to do the free agency picking up and all that to try and elevate yourself, but you've got to draft really good character that stays the journey.
Isn't that what Brisbane did?
Brisbane did that with McCluggage. Well, everyone's trying to do it. You've got to get McCluggage and Rainey, you could say, are good examples, maybe almost 10 years ago when they came in. But everyone's trying to do it. But nailing the formula, as I say, the Suns seem to me to be the latest team that have nailed that formula.
It seems like if you're an interstate club trying to draft a kid from another state, if you can get a mate that comes with them to potentially allow them to stay.
Yeah, all that.
And it's obviously building the right culture and having enough success and travelling that, because I think there's a certain time frame that you need to be looking like you're going to improve and contend. That locks people there.
Can I tell you, players build culture. You build culture where you were. You build culture where you guys do too. Sometimes you look outside. I reckon players are the building blocks of the culture, unless you've got a terrible example around.
Would you give them a priority pick?
Absolutely. If you're ever going to give a priority pick again, they've been bad enough for long enough. I know they've run the premiership in 18, and that's sort of in the back of your mind a bit. But if you're that bad, it's about the first draft choice this year. Might go to the Eagles and you think, oh, terrific, I've got to be down the bottom of the ladder for the next. You've got to try and make sure equalisation works so that the draft...
They won a flag in 2018. How would the St Kilda fan who's won one premiership in their whole journey feel about a priority pick after 7 years in the high 80s?
Yeah, well, that is an interesting point. And maybe if you've run a premiership in the last decade, you become ineligible. But if you talk about 4 or 5 really... They've won 11 games in the last 5 seasons. So, I mean, if you're really bad... OK, you can stay bad, but the competition is based on its equalisation pillar.
Yeah, it's not working at the moment. The footy's been ordinary this year. I've been saying it from early in the season, but our stats will back it up now. The amount of 75-plus point margins there's been is the record this year, and we've still got 3 games to go, and it's been really disappointing and has to be a concern for the AFL going forward. Is it an anomaly? Well, at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to be an anomaly because there is a stark difference between the top 9 and the bottom 9, especially those bottom few teams. So that's been a concern.
And the commission, Leigh?
Well, only on the commission. I thought we should have a look at the commission because the commission in the AFL world are the only body that can change rules. So Greg Swan, the AFL hierarchy, they can make recommendations, but the commission is the only body that can change rules. So maybe if it's worth having a look at them on the basis of how much football intellect is on that board. Certainly business intellect, yes. Andrew Ireland, we know well, he's been around the football world a long, long time. Hope he's got a lot of influence there. When it comes to on-field decisions, like what the game is on the field, not about the marketing, not about the DNA of the game itself. Matt De Boer is obviously an ex-player. But anyway, in terms of playing Greg Swan's role, which we all love to do, one of the things that looks like happening is that it looks like the bounce is probably just about dead. I think it's doomed. So you're going to do the throw-up, right? But the throw-up is the first stage of it. The second stage is making sure players, something like this configuration. So on the other side of the circle there, there might be 2 lines, so you've got to run 4 or 5 steps. I mean, this is an example of what happened with Goldstein and Grundy. And this happens so often that you make them, not only do you throw it up when you know exactly where the ball's going, because it's not a bounce, it's a consistent throw-up, and players run 4 or 5 steps in to jump at the ball. And
it was good to watch Gawn and Williams on the weekend. I did that. It was fantastic.
Did they have a deal or something?
I don't know, but it was great to watch.
It's like a negotiation pre-game.
But it actually gives the midfielders more scope to move and
less
probably,
free kicks.
And less free kicks and less predictable to the teammates. But so what you're saying is that will then go to the commission, who will then decide
they're the ultimate
whether that comes in or not.
They're the ultimate decision maker.
Does that worry you?
Decisions like
Does that worry you with that football IQ? Because I would imagine Greg Swan comes in and he's spoken on 360 that he doesn't like the bounce. Yeah. And then we have the Laws of the Game Committee, which is now defunct. We have another committee, competition committee, as well. Is it not derelict of the AFL to actually send it to people like you, Leigh, and go, do we need the bounce?
Well, that's why they decided last year that when Andrew Ireland and Matt De Boer came on to get some football people on the commission for that very reason. You would hope people stick in their lanes. And when it comes to the on-field stuff, Andrew Ireland and Matt De Boer would be critical to it, but you'd hope they would just be accepting the recommendations of the AFL administration.
Have you been asked to be on the commission at any stage?
Oh, no, I flirted with that a couple of years ago. That never worked.
And why did you say no?
Too much common sense.
It would make sense to have someone like you on there.
Oh, no, not someone like me.
Just a quick one on Swanee. Do you think he missed a trick with Toby Green's sort of back heel?
I probably did, yeah. I mean, it's a match review issue, but we know that it is a decision made at the head office. I mean, the football manager is called in, I'm pretty sure, on all the decisions that Michael Christian makes. And so I thought that was kind of that was the benefit of the doubt, wasn't it? That was very close to getting kicked in the place none of us men want to get kicked in.
No, well, the match review is certainly not a tried and true measure. It's certainly in the gun with Greg Swan.